Peter Earle is with the American Institute for Economic Research, and Phil Kirpin is the principal of it. Unleash Prosperity, and Doug Burns is back on set with us here. He is a federal former prosecutor and NEWSMAX contributor. Let's go to Peter on this. Thoughts on these new Trump accounts? Do you think they'll work, and will there be support behind them?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's a nod to the power of capital markets and building long-term wealth. And I think the idea is in part by introducing families to ownership early and introducing these new funds for families, it encourages saving and investment, and it could give that kid, a leg up in planning for college. Maybe, it becomes the acorn that helps them eventually own a house someday, something like that. It's a pretty market-friendly alternative to government-run redistribution schemes, although it does involve the taxpayer laying out $1,000 up front.
Sure. Of course, children are very, very expensive, Phil, but every little bit counts, right? So we heard about the promise of child tax credits throughout the campaign. Is this at least one step forward by the Trump administration to make good on that promise or support growing families?
Well, this bill, the big, beautiful bill, does also raise the child credit from $2,000 per child to $2,500, and that's as opposed to it going down to $1,000 next year, which is what will happen if Congress doesn't get their act together. This is, in the grand scheme of things, much less expensive than the child credit, which we pay out every year for 17 years. This is a one-time payment. It's only $1,000. So it's not a huge amount of money. It's not a huge amount of money for taxpayers relative to the child credit. It's not a huge amount of money for families either. But what it does is it buys them into our economic system. It buys them into the markets. It buys them into capitalism. It gives them an interest in rooting for the economy to perform well, for capital markets to perform well. And that, I think, is the real advantage of this proposal, is that it makes everyone have an ownership stake in our society. And I think that aligns incentives for people to support good policy on everything else. That's why this is a good idea.
Interesting. Yeah. Doug, I want to get your take on this as well. I mean, it's sort of forced savings, is it not?
No, I would echo what my colleagues have said. I mean, it creates, the idea of, owning an asset really early on, which is good. If, as was just stated, it is more economically feasible, less expensive than going the route of the dollar-for-dollar tax credits, then it's even another reason why I think it's a good idea and I would support it.
All right. You never know what's going to come from one of these roundtable events. $1,000 for you, growing families across the board. So we'll see. Peter Earle, Phil Kirpin, Doug Burns, thank you all very much.